What is up, DTube, Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about. So I was looking back. I wanted to do a video on looking back at 2010 internet because I did videos on YouTube. I was on Facebook, 2010, and I went back to some of my videos and I looked how Facebook looked and how just internet in general looked. And there are a few things I can take away from that. So the first thing is there were a lot more curiosity then. There were a lot more just exploring of creating stuff themselves. That humans were creating stuff, they had more curiosity, they cared to be involved in other people's stuff, and they were more of a, just in general, just a curiosity as that they are just on the internet and they're just exploring stuff, and it was more exciting, you could see in general, that people sort of looked at stuff in exciting ways. And some things we can take away, like comparing to now, we can see that some things that people stopped doing, it was they have less involvement, less care, but the big thing is probably less creation. So humans, they created way more 2010 from what I can see. Yeah, you can look at charts and see, yeah, people creating more content now, but yeah, that's from a more business perspective. But I mean, like the average user, they sort of were more involved in random stuff and sort of created the cool things, while that sort of faded away eventually. And what people can sort of learn from this is seeing how big monopolies can basically slow a lot of things down. So, for example, we see that Google and Facebook, they didn't really have the user's best interest at heart. They have the last 10 years just focused on making money for themselves, and that really slowed down a lot of stuff. It slowed down a lot of creative stuff that would have happened, and it's just that people can learn from this, that everyone is like here to learn, right? So what you also see then is how ignorant people were then and how people may be even more ignorant now. Or like it's a combination, like some people are less ignorant, but you have this thing where humans always going to expand their ignorance, their borders of ignorance, and that we're never going to get away from that. Like in modern age now, a lot of people think that we're eventually going to get to a phase of where we actually know things. Well, if you really look at this, like what humans are doing, we did a lot of silly stuff in 2010, but people were probably more open to, like, because the internet was like, especially with Facebook and stuff like that, these like big platforms with a lot of people and trying to create some kind of social media thing. People had a lot of excitement because it was something that people haven't really done that much in the past. But you see that in many ways, social media kind of failed in many ways, I would say. And that we can sort of look at, try to not repeat the same sort of mistakes. So one of the big mistakes was that people stopped creating stuff. They stopped creating content because for them it seemed like there was no point with it. But there actually is a point. There is a point because other people find it inspiring. Other people, they like seeing other people trying stuff. So that was a big mistake that people did, that they really did not keep creating stuff. And when you create stuff, you can open up new doors, open up new possibility. And that you really realize that it's a lot of those stuff that is not so much business focused, that is really, really exciting content. When people are just, when they're just doing like regular updates and stuff like that, like it has gotten a lot of slack lately. People have been complaining a lot that people are doing kind of the same content, and yeah, that is actually one of the things that everyone's like it was good at first, people that did the food content, but then people sort of in many ways it's kind of cool when people are showcasing a lot of stuff all the time, but it was just that people got stuck in they were thinking that the food was what people wanted to see, while it actually probably is more like people wanted to see a human sort of doing stuff. And if you look back at 2010, we can sort of see where 2030 is going to be, because I mean, one big thing we can see is humans have not really changed that much in 10 years. I mean, they're basically doing the same thing. People are sort of uh, the their tendencies are basically the same, right? It's a little bit tweaked, but it's a little bit the same. But there are risks here if it goes on in the same direction. If people create less, if they're less involved, and if they care less, and if they have less curiosity 2030, like even more than 2019, that is not going to create a pleasant sort of experience. And you also see when you go back there to 2010 how cool it was, especially the curiosity aspect, because there was no such thing as, oh, you need to create quality content or you need to create quantity content, because now it's so much talk about that, and you have a lot of these silos that takes a lot of human consciousness and like pull it in one direction. And in many ways it's very sad. And so it's kind of cool now how the blockchain tech comes now, and that people can get one more try at trying to do this in a way where they're actually creating stuff, and where they are not stopping the creative aspect of just exploring the world, and just exploring it on a daily basis, and trying something new on a daily basis, and doing small things to maybe get out of your comfort zone, and basically getting back the curiosity. And I think that a lot of people got that back now with the blockchain stuff, that we actually have new technology now that actually can solve a lot of the stuff that people had problems with in the past. That now you do not have to get massive amount of clicks on something. You do not have to chase mass audiences, because you can still be rewarded with smaller audiences, and that is great. That's something that we could not do with the other sort of technologies. And it's kind of interesting how you see how the human consciousness is working. The stuff that people believed and sort of looked at in 2010, and how their sort of ideas and concepts about a lot of stuff has sort of changed. And people can also see about that it's not life that is taking away, it's like your own life that is sort of taking away your own sort of time, because each human has time on this planet, but we are here for 100 years, and that's it, that's it. So creating stuff is so cool. Like it actually always has sort of value, especially when a person genuinely tries to do stuff, and when they are also paying attention to stuff on a daily basis, and sort of be amazed about a lot of stuff. Now it seems like people sort of want to do a lot of these things where they sort of look at a chart and they sort of see, oh, this is going to go up, and now I don't have to do anything because this is proven by math. So I don't have to do anything anymore because this is math, and we're going to Mars and we are going to Moon, so I can just sit here and do nothing. While the creative aspect is probably the most amazing thing about humans, that they can create stuff, that they can have some idea in their mind, and then it gets created in the real world. I had some things that I wrote down 2010, and when you really see how it's in your memory, in your subconscious, and you see eventually how it plays out in the real world, you sort of see that, oh my god, humans are actually creating their own sort of realities. So the biggest lesson, probably when I look back from 2010, it probably is that thing of, yeah, humans should probably have kept on creating, and that would make a cooler internet. That in many ways humans now, in many ways, I think you're sort of looking at it as, well, it is the platform that is making the cool stuff happen, while it actually is the humans. Like, if the humans put in time, energy, resources, they can actually create something, they can actually build something, they can build human infrastructure for stuff like that. But if humans remove their consciousness from creating stuff and trying new things, then that kind of stops to exist. and then creation is then sort of someone else can sort of decide how things play out. So I think this is gonna keep on. This is gonna be a big thing even now from 2019 to 2030, where a lot of people can easily forget. This is something you see when you go back to 2010. A lot of people can easily forget about involvement and enjoying creating stuff. It's so easy to forget about that. That wasn't really that fun. It's more about clicking on a like button that is fun. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. And it's kind of funny how you see people also when you go back 10 years, you sort of see people going in circles. People sort of doing the same thing in circles. And they are in a loop, right? It's like a zoo in many ways. And that's mainly because humans, like time is, or like the physical existence is like cyclical. So yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. It's funny how you can learn a lot by looking at stuff in the past and sort of see, oh wait a sec, I'm also sort of repeating a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Have an awesome day, DTube and Steam Blockchain, and then I can watch this video in like 10 years and be like, oh wow, I forgot about all those things. But actually, a lot of stuff is in the subconscious still, because that's why you sort of see people sort of doing the same things or tweaking a little bit of things. So it's not really like you're forgetting it's in there somewhere, right? But it's interesting when people's awareness sort of is increasing for a lot of stuff on the planet, like how stuff works, how if people just become a little bit more aware of stuff, they can see more stuff that always was there, but they can just see more now, right? Like nothing really happened in the existence. Like it's like a room, like what you're looking at is like that is what exists for you. But if you're paying attention to more things, it's like putting on all the lights in the room, basically. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. It's very interesting to look back. You can also look back at Wayback Machine, and yeah, have a great day, DTube and Steam Blockchain.